Picture a machine born from a moment in history when engineers believed elegance could coexist with ambitious complexity, when designers pushed shapes that cut through the air with confidence, when luxury felt experimental instead of predictable. Imagine a grand touring idea shaped by a belief that comfort and precision could merge into something almost surreal under high load, something that seemed to glide rather than simply roll along pavement. This is a story about how that belief created an automotive experience so bold that rumors, myths, and misunderstandings still follow it today. A machine praised for its poise yet cautioned for its unusual demands. A showcase of what happens when ambition outruns caution and innovation outruns convention. We are about to explore how that gamble unfolded, why it fascinated drivers for decades, and what it reveals about the limits of engineering confidence. If you enjoy deep dives into machines that challenged norms, like and subscribe and comment what topic we should cover next. The story of the Citroën SM 1972 begins with an idea that grand touring could feel less like controlling machinery and more like guiding a living sculpture shaped by engineering ambition. The Citroën SM arrived at a moment when designers wanted to merge stability, comfort, and aerodynamic logic into a single coherent experience, and understanding how that intention formed requires revisiting the challenges that shaped its unusual technical direction. The Citroën SM 1972 emerged from a company driven by complex hydraulic systems that aimed to neutralize harsh motion, reduce driver fatigue, and create a stable platform under heavy stress. These ideas did not appear overnight but grew from a lineage that valued controlled, adaptable movement. To understand the car's place in history, you have to recognize how the Citroën SM balanced three priorities that often conflict. It sought a smooth ride, responsive precision, and a distinctive personality that could set it apart in a crowded grand touring landscape. This pursuit led engineers to focus on aerodynamic efficiency long before it became trendy. The tapered body was shaped to minimize resistance at speed, but it also defined the car's identity as a sleek, forward-leaning form that signaled confidence. The attention to airflow was not only about fuel use or speed, it was also about stability, assuring that high-speed cruising would feel centered and calm even during crosswinds or surface changes. Inside, the Citroën SM 1972 was created to feel more like a personal capsule than a traditional cabin, which meant seating, layout, and visibility were chosen to reduce sensory fatigue during long journeys. This decision reflected a belief that endurance comfort mattered as much as headline performance numbers. The interior used elements that aimed to keep the driver attentive but relaxed, with controls arranged for minimal reach and feedback systems tuned for clarity rather than flair. This approach also created a learning curve because the control responses felt unfamiliar to drivers accustomed to simpler mechanical setups. The steering, for example, was engineered to be sensitive and quick, which meant it rewarded smooth hands but also demanded careful inputs. The hydraulic system that powered this steering philosophy was central to the Citroën SM's personality. It controlled ride height, braking feel, and directional stability through a coordinated network of pressurized components. Getting these systems to work together required precise tolerances, which meant the Citroën SM 1972 was not just a car but a demonstration of how integrated systems could outperform isolated components when properly tuned. The complexity was intentional, not accidental. Engineers believed a grand touring machine should adapt to changing environments without requiring constant driver corrections. This ambition pushed the project into territory rarely explored at the time, especially since the car also carried a powertrain that differed from the company's usual designs. Integrating a high-winding engine required adjustments in cooling, weight balance, and drivetrain placement. The decision to pursue such an engine stemmed from a desire to give the Citroën SM a personality that felt energetic at speed without overwhelming daily drivability. Engineers tuned it for smooth revs and a linear power curve that favored long-distance momentum. Combining this engine with the hydraulic systems created a unique experience. Acceleration felt steady rather than forceful, and the suspension absorbed inconsistencies with minimal cabin disturbance. Many drivers described the sensation as if the car glided rather than simply traveled across asphalt, and this perception became one of its signature qualities. Achieving this level of isolation required thoughtful coordination between the shock absorbers, the hydraulic reservoir, and the vehicle's structural points. Each component contributed to a sense of controlled motion. The ride height adjustments, for example, were not a novelty feature. They existed to maintain handling balance even when the car was fully loaded or encountering variable terrain. This consistency gave the Citroën SM 1972 a reputation for confidence under conditions that unsettled more traditional Grand Touring designs. The car avoided nosedive during braking and resisted tilt during cornering, creating a sense of calm composure. Drivers found that the Citroën SM responded best to smooth, progressive inputs. Push too hard and the systems revealed their complexity, but treat it with finesse, and the car rewarded you with poised stability. This personality shaped how the Citroën SM was perceived by enthusiasts. Some appreciated its delicate precision, while others found it challenging compared to simpler vehicles. Understanding this divide is key to understanding the car itself because the Citroën SM was created for a type of driver who valued sophistication over simplicity. Its engineering was built around the idea that the machine should shoulder the workload rather than the driver. This philosophy separated it from rivals that emphasized mechanical rawness. The Citroën SM 1972 therefore occupied a space where innovation defined both strengths and limitations. Its complex systems delivered exceptional comfort and stability, but they also demanded careful maintenance and technical understanding. The car's owners quickly learned that while the driving experience could feel effortless, the underlying systems required attention. These were not flaws but consequences of designing a machine that relied on coordination rather than brute simplicity. The Citroën SM invited drivers to participate in that philosophy. Owning it meant respecting its design intentions and investing time in understanding how its systems behaved. As a result, the car developed a reputation shaped as much by its engineering choices as by its performance metrics. It inspired admiration from those who valued refinement and caution from those who preferred straightforward construction. Yet its impact was undeniable because the Citroën SM 1972 represented a moment when engineers allowed creativity to guide the process without compromising on ambition. Its existence challenges viewers to consider what a Grand Touring machine can be when innovation is prioritized over convention, demonstrating how purposeful complexity can produce a distinctive and memorable driving character. Ultimately, the essence of the Citroën SM lies in the belief that technology can enhance the driving experience by reducing fatigue, increasing stability, and shaping motion with precision. This belief continues to influence how enthusiasts evaluate the car decades later. The Citroën SM 1972 stands as a reminder that bold engineering can create machines that transcend their specs, offering emotional resonance through technical ingenuity. The Citroën SM 1972 reveals its deeper character when you move past first impressions and analyze how each engineering choice shaped the way the car behaved under real use. The Citroën SM was built around the idea that refinement required a foundation of precise systems that could coordinate seamlessly even under heavy stress. And this belief explains why so many components interact in ways that seem unusual today. The Citroën SM 1972 did not chase high output numbers or sheer acceleration potential. It pursued a feeling of sustained confidence at speed, and that meant engineers prioritized balance, composure, and sensory clarity instead of headline figures. This approach is easy to misunderstand because many Grand Touring expectations of the era centered on simplicity and straight-line capability, while the Citroën SM focused on what happened during long hours on the road when fatigue, surface variations, and environmental changes could degrade performance. Engineers wanted a machine that would remain stable when winds shifted, when the pavement rippled, or when long distances blurred the driver's sense of feedback. The Citroën SM's hydraulic architecture was their solution to these challenges. The integration between suspension and steering allowed the front end to stay composed during directional changes. The fast steering ratio paired with automatic centering produced a driving style that rewarded smooth inputs and punished abrupt moves. Many drivers described early encounters with the Citroën SM 1972 as surprising because the steering correction felt proactive rather than reactive. The system eased the car back to center with a sense of confidence that reduced wandering at speed. This self-centering behavior was not meant to limit driver control. It was intended to reduce fatigue during long, uninterrupted highway stretches where tiny corrections accumulate into physical strain. Understanding how the Citroën SM achieved this clarity requires a closer look at the hydraulic supply, the pressure regulators, and the feedback valves. These elements allowed the steering to remain light yet stable. The challenge for engineers was coordinating this technology so that the car felt intuitive instead of artificial. The Citroën SM demanded extensive testing to fine-tune the balance between low-speed maneuverability and high-speed steadiness. The car's reputation for uncanny smoothness stems from this work. Every surface irregularity was filtered through a system that aimed to prevent sharp impacts from reaching the cabin. This hydraulic philosophy extended to the braking system as well. The Citroën SM 1972 used pressure-based actuation that delivered strong stopping force with minimal pedal travel, creating a firm, controlled response that differed from conventional mechanical setups. Some drivers needed time to adapt to this feel because the short pedal range required deliberate modulation. However, once understood, the braking system contributed to the car's sense of precision. The Citroën SM encouraged anticipation instead of abrupt reactions. It rewarded drivers who understood pacing, weight transfer, and rhythm. This attitude was consistent across the car's entire design, especially in how the suspension maintained ride height regardless of load. Whether transporting luggage, passengers, or nothing at all, the Citroën SM 1972 retained its intended balance. This consistency was one of the reasons it excelled at long-distance travel without developing unpredictable handling characteristics. Engineers knew that load variations could undermine the driving experience if left unmanaged. By stabilizing ride height, they removed a major variable that often affected traditional suspensions. The result was a sense of neutrality that stayed intact even when conditions changed, reinforcing the car's claim to long-range capability. Another aspect of the Citroën SM's personality emerged from its aerodynamic shape. The tapered nose and smooth flanks were not stylistic flourishes, but strategic attempts to maintain laminar airflow at sustained speeds. High-speed stability depended not only on suspension tuning but also on minimizing lift. The Citroën SM 1972 was shaped to remain planted without relying on external appendages that could disrupt the clean design. This attention to airflow influenced how the car handled crosswinds. While some cars of the era experienced dramatic shifts in direction, the Citroën SM absorbed these forces with controlled adjustments from the steering and suspension systems. Drivers could feel the car respond calmly to sudden gusts without requiring sudden corrective inputs. This behavior reinforced the impression of a machine designed to glide through changing environments while protecting the driver's focus. The powertrain also contributed to the Citroën SM's distinctiveness. Its smooth delivery of power was engineered to complement the car's personality rather than overpower it. Engineers tuned the engine for balance, allowing it to maintain speed with a relaxed, predictable progression instead of abrupt surges. The result was a steady pull that suited extended travel and reduced strain on the vehicle's complex mechanical systems. Noise management was another part of this experience. The Citroën SM 1972 delivered a restrained soundtrack that supported long-distance comfort without overwhelming cabin dynamics. This subtle approach reflected the car's grand touring priorities. Engineers aimed for clarity and calm rather than aggressive mechanical notes. The weight distribution also influenced handling predictability. By placing components strategically, the Citroën SM achieved a neutral stance that helped the hydraulic systems perform optimally. This distribution allowed the car to maintain poise during transitional motions, such as entering or exiting sweeping curves. Drivers noticed how composed the car felt even when encountering changing camber or uneven surfaces. The suspension isolated vertical movement while preserving steering communication. The consistency of this behavior is what separated the Citroën SM 1972 from many contemporary vehicles. The integrated systems worked together to maintain stability where simpler setups might become unsettled. However, this complexity introduced challenges for long-term reliability. The tightly integrated systems required maintenance routines that were unfamiliar to many owners, and the need for precise calibration meant that general service shops often struggled with proper adjustments. The Citroën SM's reputation for being demanding did not arise from flaws in the engineering but from the reality that a machine built with such interdependent systems required specialized care. When maintained correctly, the car delivered the smooth, composed experience its designers intended. When neglected or serviced improperly, the systems could fall out of harmony. This created a perception that the car was difficult to own, although enthusiasts who understood its needs found it manageable. The Citroën SM 1972 therefore occupies an interesting place in automotive culture. It represents a point where engineering ambition attempted to reshape the expectations of grand touring comfort and capability. The car challenged drivers to appreciate a different form of performance, one centered on stability, adaptability, and refined control rather than sheer speed. It also challenged technicians to adapt to a new style of maintenance that required careful attention to detail. The Citroën SM 1972 reaches its fullest meaning when viewed as more than a product of its era. The Citroën SM represents a philosophy that challenges how we think about long-distance travel, driver comfort, and the role of technology in shaping motion. And its lasting influence becomes clearer when we consider how its ideas echoed through future engineering conversations. The Citroën SM 1972 was created at a time when luxury machines often relied on straightforward mechanics and familiar driving sensations. By contrast, the Citroën SM introduced a level of coordination between steering, suspension, and braking that redefined what a grand touring experience could feel like. Many elements that later became common expectations in high-tier travel machines, such as ride adaptability, cabin isolation, and aerodynamic focus, had early expressions in the Citroën SM's design. Its approach predicted a future where vehicles would use integrated systems to maintain stability and ease driver workload under varying conditions. The Citroën SM 1972 demonstrated these principles long before electronic control units took over similar tasks. The car's legacy is therefore tied to its ability to influence thinking rather than its commercial success. It showed that smoothness and precision could coexist without requiring aggressive output or raw mechanical simplicity. The Citroën SM 1972 also offers long-term lessons about the relationship between innovation and maintainability. Its integrated hydraulic architecture delivered impressive results when properly calibrated, but the complexity required specialized knowledge that some owners did not have access to. As a result, the Citroën SM's reputation became divided between those who appreciated its depth and those who struggled with upkeep. This divide created a narrative that shaped the car's cultural footprint for decades. In enthusiast circles, the Citroën SM became a symbol of engineering bravery, representing a willingness to attempt solutions that required commitment from both manufacturer and owner. Its supporters value the car precisely because it refuses half measures. Every system aims for a specific effect, and achieving that effect demands respect for calibration, maintenance, and understanding. The Citroën SM 1972 therefore teaches an important lesson about long-term ownership of advanced machines. When engineering pushes boundaries, ongoing care must follow the same level of intention. Modern vehicles use digital controls to simplify complex behaviors, but the Citroën SM relied on mechanical and hydraulic precision, making its achievements even more notable. Beyond technical influence, the Citroën SM 1972 holds cultural significance as an artifact of optimism. It embodies a belief that comfort, stability, and sophistication could be engineered without sacrificing individuality. At a time when many grand touring designs lean toward traditional shapes and predictable behaviors, the Citroën SM chose a different path, presenting a sleek aerodynamic profile that communicated confidence. This design language contributed to its enduring visual appeal. The car still appears contemporary in ways few of its peers can match. Its shape was not only about aesthetics. The flowing lines, tapered cabin, and smooth surfaces all supported the vehicle's stability at speed. The Citroën SM 1972 remains a compelling example of how form and function can elevate one another, especially when guided by a clear vision. The enthusiast communities that maintain the Citroën SM today demonstrate the car's lasting impact. Dedicated owners share knowledge, refine maintenance techniques, and keep the hydraulic systems in proper condition through careful practice. Their efforts ensure that the Citroën SM continues to exist not as a fragile relic but as a fully functioning expression of engineering ambition. These communities highlight another aspect of the car's legacy. The Citroën SM 1972 invites participation, asking its caretakers to understand its systems and respect its needs. This collaborative relationship between machine and owner adds depth to the car's identity, making it more than a historical footnote. When viewed in modern context, the Citroën SM 1972 stands as an early demonstration of principles that would later shape luxury travel. Adaptability, reduced fatigue, aerodynamic stability, and integrated system behavior. By embodying these elements decades ahead of widespread adoption, the car secured its place as a touchstone in discussions about forward-looking design. Even though it was not produced in large numbers, its influence persists because it represents a vision that continues to inspire admiration. The Citroën SM remains relevant because it shows how engineering creativity can shape sensation, mood, and confidence on the road. Its unique blend of ambition and refinement ensures that it will be studied, appreciated, and celebrated for many years. Through this lens, the Citroën SM 1972 stands as one of the most distinctive expressions of grand touring philosophy ever created. A machine defined not by volume or mass appeal, but by the clarity of its intent and the depth of its execution. The Citroën SM 1972 represents a rare moment when engineering confidence, creative design, and long-distance purpose aligned to form a machine that still challenges how we think about travel. The Citroën SM combined hydraulic sophistication, aerodynamic poise, and refined power delivery in a way that set it apart from the traditional expectations of its time. And reflecting on that legacy reveals how deeply its vision continues to resonate. The Citroën SM 1972 was built around a philosophy that favored stability, smoothness, and sensory clarity. Rather than relying on brute output, it used coordinated systems to maintain balance under changing conditions, allowing drivers to feel centered even during long journeys that tested concentration and endurance. Its hydropneumatic suspension, sensitive steering, and controlled braking created a driving character that rewarded patience and finesse. These qualities define not only the experience behind the wheel but also the commitments required from owners who embraced its complexity. The car's demanding maintenance reputation stemmed from its reliance on precision and calibration. The Citroën SM asked owners to participate in its design philosophy by respecting its mechanical needs. Yet this requirement became part of its charm, encouraging a dedicated enthusiast community to preserve its systems, share expertise, and uphold the engineering values that shaped its identity. The Citroën SM 1972 therefore stands as more than an innovative vehicle. It is a case study in how ambitious ideas can outlast their production run and influence future thinking long after the original project concludes. In an era when digital controls have replaced many mechanical and hydraulic solutions, the Citroën SM remains a reminder that refinement and balance can be achieved through thoughtful design even without modern electronics. Its aerodynamic profile still appears forward-looking, its interior layout still feels intentional, and its overall presence communicates a confidence that few machines can match. For many enthusiasts, the Citroën SM represents a celebration of engineering creativity. It shows that a grand touring machine can be shaped by principles of comfort, composure, and long-range ability without sacrificing individuality. This combination of ideas is what preserves its appeal today. The Citroën SM 1972 continues to attract admiration because it embodies a clear vision executed with purpose and courage. As we close this exploration, the story of the Citroën SM reminds us that innovation is not only about efficiency or performance metrics but also about creating experiences that resonate emotionally and intellectually. When a machine succeeds in expressing that level of intention, it earns a place in cultural memory that far exceeds production numbers or market outcomes. End of summary.